Good morning, everybody. Good. Okay. I'm up. I'm early. I'm here. We're a little bit early. I've got my favorite song playing. It's called Green Onions. It's really old. But do you have a song that makes you just want to rock out? It's one of those things that gives me instant joy. It makes me laugh, it makes me smile, and it makes me hugely resourceful no matter what is happening. So I learned a couple of things last time. Hi, Chuck Beatty. He's here. I learned a couple of things last time, and that is that I can get on here early, and also that there's a 20-second delay. So things are happening, and I don't see them for 20 seconds. Hi, Chuck. And also, I learned that I can scroll, right? I guess there's nothing happening yet, so I'm not scrolling. So I'm just getting settled in. I'm just here. I'm just happy, and I'm waiting for you. Hi, John Shemrai. Thanks for coming back. So I may need to have a little assistance on my scroll, Chuck. But you know what? This is just what happens. You get there early. You make sure all the pieces are working, and you realize that I'm one of those folks. My Corona crown is starting. I just think of it as a tiara that's happening on my head. I don't have a scroll down thing. I don't know what that means.
Maybe there's nothing coming in.
And that's okay. That's right. So here's what we know. What we know is that this is not about performance. Hi, Jennifer Coleman. How are you, my darling? This is not about performance. This is about authenticity. And I'm here. I got green onions. I got people showing up as they can. I got those of you who weren't able to join us. I have you joining us with the replay. It is all good. You are all welcome. And so one of the things I'm going to do at this moment is I'm going to do some housekeeping things, some detail things, so we get them in the conversation and we don't have to worry about them. So yay. Hi, Marcos. How are you, my dear? Yeah, I think this is going to happen. And what we found out last time is that it doesn't matter what technical circumstances are happening. We will get through it and it will be great. So the good news is that I had some visual aids last time. So simple shifts are about interrupting these unconscious traps that we get locked in. And one of the things that we thought about in the week since we were here together was, wouldn't it be cool if everybody had some visual aids? So the famous and illustrious love of my life and partner in all things, Chuck Beatty, actually created some visual aids for you. So I'm going to use this early time to tell you about them, and so everybody gets the chance to see where they are. So Chuck, would you do us the great favor and type in the link for these? Because you will find 3 visual aids. First is the simple shifts with some information. The second is the introduction to the gears with some really great graphics on it. And you will all have your own version of Planet Me. And then remember the last thing we talked about, and you may not remember because you might not have seen it yet, but the last thing we talked about was called pattern plus meaning equals emotion. And so you get some details about that. And for today's session, on the link that Chuck is going to post right now in about 20 seconds, is the link for today. So you have a visual aid for today. It's up there. And what's fun about it is that what I know as being a trainer is that have some information in front of you so that you don't have to think so hard, but also have some opportunities for you to fill things in and make it real for you. Because honestly, you're not going to remember what I say. You're going to remember what you wrote or what you thought or what you saw. And so I keep that in mind when I'm doing these conversations. I'm having these conversations. So normally what I would do is I would say, those of you who are there, whether I can see you or not, I'm trusting that you're there. Those of you who are there, how are you? Like, let's just land together. How are you? How was your life today? And I know I have a 20-second lag, so I'm going to ask that question and do a little talking over it. The reason that I ask you to to chime in and say, how are you, is because we are here together, but also because everybody is in a different spot. We are in like week 3 or week 4, depending on how you're counting for COVID-19. And we've all got different circumstances to deal with. I will tell you that some folks are still, and just think about the people at the front lines. I'm doing some work with my friends at Wiser, the women in solid waste and recycling. And one of the things that's true is that this is absolutely an essential service. And, prior to this, like let's say 2 months ago, how often did you think about the person who collects your trash and recycling? Most of us never think of them at all. We don't realize how important they are. COVID-19 has really made it obvious to the most casual observer. Thank you. Resigned and tired. Here's Jen. Resigned and tired. Because you're at the front lines. The work that you're doing is important. You're going to work every day. You're in a small apartment and you can't go anywhere. And yet what you do is essential and crucial. So those folks who are collecting our recycling and our trash, essential and crucial. And when was the last time you waved to your garbage person? Because it could be a woman. Waved to your garbage person and said, thank you so much for your service. Or the UPS guy. We were out walking on our street just yesterday. It's like, oh my gosh, the UPS guy is here. So that's, conversation with those folks who are out in the world still trying to make things happen. So what I'd love to leave you with is the idea that what you can do is the next time you see somebody picking up your garbage, next time you see UPS, and even the Amazon folks are doing their best to make no noise, just drop things off at your door and not be near anybody because they are working really hard. And of course, our police, our emergency responders, the folks who are, hi, John, how are you? And those folks who are working in hospitals, whether they're doing administrative work or whether they're nurses and doctors on the front lines, it's been 4 weeks and it's been tough. So those of us who are home, staying home to protect those folks in the hospitals and the doctor's offices, we really kind of have it really good. I mean, I think I don't remember realizing just how good I have it. And so what I'm bringing to the conversation today, there's tired, there's resigned, there's hopeful, and there's thankful. I'm really bringing thankful. So we've been on here for about 8 minutes now. So what I'm going to do, trusting that those folks who will be here, and trusting that this is an important conversation, I'm just going to get rolling with what we're going to do. So hi, all of you on the replay. I love you. I appreciate you. And let's get rolling. So first things first. We talked about visual aids. Of course, I have a little cheat sheet here because I want this to be, logical and coherent. And there's lots of things to say. So we talked about 3 things last time. We talked about simple shifts. They interrupt those unconscious traps. And unconscious traps is what we're all kind of living in right now. Those things that are outside of our awareness, but they stop us. They hold us back until we attend to them. So one of the benefits that people are responding to with COVID-19 is that it's making us respond to things that we never thought of before. So simple shifts are exactly the way we do that consciously. The second thing we talked about is the gears. And one of the things that was everybody's favorite was Planet Me. So today's session is all about Planet Me. And that is your first gear, your subjective experience, and what things are like for you on your planet. You decide how things are on your planet because of the third thing that we talked about last time, and that is pattern plus meaning equals emotion. And you remember, everything's a pattern, and the way that we learn how to maneuver in the world since we were born, what our parents' face is, where milk is, where the blanket is, where the diapers are, everything is a pattern, and we learn how to maneuver as humans. What we don't realize, because it happens so quickly, is that every pattern has a meaning. Now, most of the patterns that we get as we're growing, we just pick the meaning that we're given. But as we grow up, we start to realize, you know what? That doesn't mean what I thought it did when you meet somebody who's different than you, or you have a situation where you've never experienced that before. You have some choices. So I'm going to invite you all to consider that as adults, we all have choices about the meaning that we make. And if we have choices, why wouldn't we make things mean something good for us instead of bad for us? We have a situation right now. COVID-19 is is making us look at our meanings. What are we making this pandemic mean? Is it the end of the world? Is it the new opportunity for us to reinvent ourselves? And anything in between. So, depending on the meaning that we make, that's the emotion that we feel. So, we're going to talk today about the emotions that you feel and how you can affect the emotions that you feel with something called energy levels. Now, energy levels is a very cool thing that was discovered by a teacher of mine. His name is Bruce Schneider, and he wrote this book called Energy Leadership. Now, I want to say this is an easy read. And what I mean by an easy read is that it's not dense. Anybody could read it. It's written for just the general public. And it's the story of a person in business who has a company that is failing. And what he discovers throughout the book, as he learns these energy levels that we're going to be talking about, what he learns is that he can shift the way he leads, he can shift the way people experience him, and he can shift the way people are able to do their jobs depending on energy levels. And so I thought, number one, because when I learned energy levels in 2017, the first day I learned it, I just went, oh my God, it changed everything. And I've been doing this work for a long time. So it's not that I didn't know a lot of things that help me change the meaning of things, but this was something that just knocked me out. And it seems like the perfect thing for us to use for COVID-19. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to show you the handout that you have. And whether you have it or not, okay, we're going to talk about the pieces on it, and then we're going to talk about the questions. Now, it turns out that there are two different kinds of energy in the world, but most people only don't know that. So I'm going to use mine. Don't you wish we had PowerPoints? Honestly, I'm going to have to learn how to do that. Okay. So, two kinds of energy in the world. All right. Protective energy and expansive energy. So what that means is there are times in the world where you just need to defend yourself, you need to pull back or fight. Nothing bad about that kind of energy because sometimes that's what's required. But there's 5 other levels of energy. So there's 2 levels of energy there. There's 5 other energy levels that I never heard of, and most people have never heard of, that I'm going to introduce you to today. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect those energy levels with the meanings that you make. And I'll tell you before we start that about 45 minutes ago, I just got some news about my schoolwork that a month ago would have knocked me down. And I don't mean knocked me out in a good way. I mean, on the ground, are you kidding me right now? Like, oh my God. Now, fortunately, I know about these levels. And fortunately, I'm going to be having this conversation with you, and it was going to be happening in less than an hour and a half. So I really had to look at what just happened to me in light of what I'm going to teach you. So I want you to know, full disclosure, I'm coming at these energy levels having used them with something that just happened to me that ordinarily would have left me in protective energy and would have, pretty much sidelined me, an unconscious trap, which is, oh my God. Okay. Now, normally I get some comments from folks. So I'm going to invite you right now, the 2 of you that are here on my screen, what questions do you have about anything we've said, or what comments do you want to make about anything we've said before I move on? And there's 20 seconds between that question and your answer. So I will tell you that there are other people watching this on the replay who are going to want to know what you think. And just waiting for it is a good thing. Hi, Chuck. There's 10 people watching. Kelly, how are you? Chuck says, there's 10 people watching. I love you too, Kelly. So here's the question. Comments? Thoughts? Anything you want to say about what I just did? Because we're going to jump into energy for the next 15 minutes. Wait for it. Yeah. And here's what we know. what we know is that sometimes just stopping and breathing is the best thing you can do. Hi, Stephen. Thank you so much. Now, Stephen is somebody who was with us last time, and Stephen learned these two words as catabolic and anabolic. But honestly, it's really easy to think that catabolic is bad and anabolic is good. So, Stephen, I have changed the language. Thank you, John. Protective energy seems to flow from first gear. Absolutely. And guess what? All of this happens in first gear. Everything we're doing right now happens on planet B. Okay? So planet Me is where we are right now. Two kinds of energy. Stephen would say catabolic, which we learned, in which you'll see in the book, is protective energy. And that is keeping yourself safe, feeling like a victim sometimes. And if you feel like a victim, it's perfectly normal to keep yourself safe. And the second part is about conflict. And if you're in conflict, it's perfectly natural to want to hit somebody. Yeah, I had that thought about an hour and a half ago. And nothing wrong with either of those two states. If you think about the world right now, we are all in those two states. And I'd love to show you this picture. Yeah, here it is. It's right here in front of me, okay? So I'm going to show you this picture so that you can see, okay? So here's protective energy. So conflict and victim, okay? Now, how do you know that you're in that energy? And that's what we're about to do. Because what you'll find out is that Bruce Schneider, who wrote this book, is the one who created the energy level, created the language for the energy levels, but the questions I'm going to share with you were created by me. Because how do you know when you're in that energy level? You can tell by the questions you're asking. So let's start with the first one. The first one is level 1 energy, protective energy, and that's about feeling like a victim of circumstances. How many folks right now in COVID-19 are feeling like a victim of circumstances? I just lost my job. I've got no income. I've got no clients. I can't leave my house. Oh my God, why is this happening to me? So the question at level 1 is, why me? Why this? Why is this happening? It's not my fault. That's level 1 energy. Nothing wrong with it, and it keeps you in one spot. If you want to raise your energy a little, you can get mad. So energy level 2 is conflict. And the question there is, okay, whose butt do I need to kick right now? So level 1 and level 2 is the world that we live in. Totally normal, totally natural, nothing wrong with it. However, when you only have those two levels of energy and you only have those two questions, your circumstances are kind of narrow and you don't have as much choice as I would like for you to have. You don't have as much choice as you do when you use the other 5 levels of energy, which is what we're going to talk about. All of this happens in first gear, so it's the truth for you. If you're feeling why me, it's like the circumstances that just happened to me about my school. Oh, for crying out loud, are you kidding me right now? Why me? I'm working so hard. It's almost the end of the semester. Didn't help me very much. My next thought was, okay, whose butt do I need to kick right now? Didn't help me very much. Fortunately, I have 5 more levels. So I'm going to show you this picture. The other 5 levels are what I call expansive. Bruce calls them anabolic. Okay? Expansive allows you to see other choices, allows you to see what might be invisible to you when you're just like this with the protective energy, right? You're keeping your hands like this so that you can punch out like that. You can't see very much. Something could be right next to you and you can't see it. So what expansive energy does layer by layer, it allows you to expand your view and you can see things that were invisible to you before. So the next level, and I call this the gateway level, it's my favorite level. And for those of you who have anything to do with recovery programs, AA, Al-Anon, any of those programs, NA, all of them, they start with this question, level 3, which is responsible. So, and that is, so working a program of recovery, you're asking the question, what's my part in this? How did I get here? So when you ask the question, what's my part in this? You've just shifted yourself out of protective into expansive. You've just shifted your energy. It's no longer anybody's fault. Now it's about something you can do something about. So when you think about the meaning that you're making of things, when it's not your fault, it means something bad is going to happen to you. But as soon as you shift it up to, I wonder what my part is, then it means something different. I feel like this is going to be our normal for a while, said Jennifer, and I'm worried that my team and I are going to struggle to adapt to this and work our way through it. Absolutely, and you are not alone. So one of the things that's awesome about these levels, and one of the reasons that you have a visual aid too at the link that Chuck is going to post for you for today's handout, is that when you understand that it's not what's happening outside of you that determines your fate, it's what you do with it. And I think we talked last time about one of my heroes of all time, Viktor Frankl. This is a guy in a concentration camp. So when you start to compare and contrast, this is someone who transcended circumstances. Nelson Mandela is another person who's done that. And so this COVID opportunity could be for those of us to look at what can we bring to this difficult situation. Something I learned recently is that a leader is a person who brings their best to the worst circumstances. And Jennifer, you are absolutely a leader. It's tiring. It's exhausting. It grows you a tiara. Just saying. And this is where we are. So my recommendation is that we think about what we can do about it. So level 1, nothing you can do about it. Level 2, if you could hit somebody, you would. Level 3, which is about responsibility. Okay. The question is, what's my part in this? And Jennifer, think about the things that you do at work. Think about what all of us do. Your part might feel like it's small, but when each of us plays our small part, it changes the conversation. Like those of us staying home, it's all we can do right now. Our part in this is to stay off the streets, and we're doing it. So once you're at what can I do about it, that allows you to get to the next level. Now, there are people on this planet, in this country, who are working at level 4 right now, and that is, how can I help? How can I help? As a doctor, as a nurse, as an EMT, as someone who's picking up your garbage, someone who's making sure that you can get the money out of the bank, people who are doing all the things that we need to keep on going in the midst of this, how can I help? People everywhere on Facebook, everywhere, how can I help? If you don't have enough food at your house, call me and I'll help you. People who are shopping for elderly folks who can't go to the store, that's level 4 energy. How can I help? So you see the difference between how can I help to, oh God, why me? It allows you to expand what's possible for you. And it allows you to expand your experience of this pandemic. The next level, and this is a wild level, this is an entrepreneurial level. This level is about synthesizing what's happening. Which is about reconciling. You know what? This is where we are. How can I, A, start a business, B, make some money, C, help people? How can I start a nonprofit? How can I start a movement? And that question is, where's the opportunity? Oh my God, COVID-19, where's the opportunity? Which is an even more expansive level than how can I help? What can I do? How can this be a win for us? Make sense? So when you look at COVID-19 from a victim, you can't go anywhere. When you want to hurt somebody, these are the people who are fighting over toilet paper in the aisles. Okay, you can't take that. Level 3, what's my part in this? Stay home. I'm doing something. Level 4, how can I help? At a hospital, in the street, shopping. Level 5, what's my opportunity? You know what? Here's where we are. Might as well do something about it. Jenny, this is what you said. It's going to be normal. This is what we're going to do. Now, these are really powerful questions to ask because what happens is it shifts your energy. It shifts the meaning that you make. And when you shift your meaning, you shift your feeling. And when you shift your feeling, your brain works better. So there's 2 more levels of energy. The next level is level 6. And this is the level where you put everything together and you realize that maybe something that never occurred to you before could be true. This is the question that I used an hour and a half ago. This is my go-to question, and it shifts me instantly because I use it all the time. I'm not saying it will shift everybody instantly, but it shifts me all the time, and I invite you to use it as often as possible. And here's the question. The question is, what if this is perfect? Now, I know there are people who are struggling right now who could say, how could COVID-19 be perfect? And it's totally perfect. If you've lost members of your family, if you have people dying around you, how would you say, how is this perfect? That's a hard place to get to. And I'm not suggesting everybody can get to it, but that's why there's a letter. That's why there's a ladder. So someone in your family just died. Okay, what's my part in this? I can help my family members. I can stay calm. I can help us get through this. You see how it changes from, oh my God, someone in my family just died and I don't know what to do? You stay there as long as you need to stay there. And then when you can move to what's my part, it will allow you to move forward. And when you say, what if this is perfect? It's kind of like what I said when the circumstances happened with my school. I just said to myself, what if this is perfect? And what it did for me was it allowed me to relax. Because the question, what if, I call it a power what if. It's absolutely the biggest simple shift you can use. Because what if gets you out of business as usual and shifts you to possibilities that are invisible to you when you don't ask that question. The final level, and this is the level that a lot of us remember from pre-COVID-19, and I have a feeling that we will discover it in COVID-19. Level 7, there's no question because you're in flow. Level 7 is about just being in perfection. We say it's about non-judgment because it allows you to say that things aren't good or bad. And the reason that we say things aren't good or bad is because we are in the flow of things. So have you ever done something that makes time stop? Yes, people making masks. Absolutely. Absolutely. From what if to what is. Thank you, Stephen. Absolutely. So there are people right now who know that their mission on the planet, and my sister Eileen is one of them, making masks for people, doing something to help. And in that process of sewing, in that process of creating something, they lose themselves. There's no good, there's no bad, there's no right, there's no wrong. There's simply this moment and this thing. And that is an amazing place to get to. And so one of the things I would invite you to consider is that in the midst of this pandemic, which is a tragedy on so many levels and an opportunity on so many levels, that we have a choice in every moment. We're not going to stay at the high levels all the time. It's just not possible for us yet. One of the things I'm doing is I'm reading a book by Pam Grout. It's called A Course in Miracles Experiment. And every day I'm thinking about and learning about how I can shift myself to what if this is perfect and being in the moment where this just is and all is well. So we have about 3 minutes before we stop. I want to leave you with the 7 levels. Level 1 is, oh my, I don't know what to do. Level 2 is, I need to kick some butt. Hi, Paula. How are you, my darling? Level 3 is, what's my part? Level 4 is, how can I help? Level 5 is, what's the opportunity here? Level 6 is, what if this is perfect? And level 7 is, we are in flow and we are in the present moment. Little miracles every day, Kelly. Absolutely. And that's what level 7 is, where you are when you're with horses. And I am right there with you in spirit. I can just say horse and smell horse. And that is level 7 for me. And I know it's level 7 for you and your family. For Naomi, absolutely. Okay, so we got about a minute left. One word of where you are right now. About 20 seconds after I've said that is when you will hear it. So I will tell you the one word that I am right now is thankful. That I have the opportunity to be on FaceTime, Facebook Live, and be here with you. I have the opportunity to see what's possible. And I have the opportunity each week to share something with you that has absolutely changed my life. Thank you, Stephen. Empowered. Yay! I know you do that for all your clients all the time, so thank you for saying that. Stephen is a coach who graduated from my school. Let's do a little shout out. Grateful, IPEC, peaceful, awesome, yay, thank you. So it's 29:17. I will tell you next week, we are going to do one more amazing simple shift, and that is me too, especially on Good Friday. Hi, Kathy. I'm going to teach you about your sensory profile. You will be astonished at understanding that you have 3 sensory channels that we move through the world with, how they work, because once again, they're a pattern we're unconscious of, and how you can use them to move forward no matter what in COVID-19. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your energy, for your energy and your peace and your grace and your thankfulness. See you next week. Thank you.